Stanford Prison Experiment. In 1971, Stanford University ran what sounded like the world's worst summer camp where you were either a prisoner or a guard in a fake jail. 24 normal students signed up. Randomly chosen, half became guards, half prisoners. No actual training, no rules, just, here's a uniform, figure it out. All participants of the experiment went to the fake jail and the show began. Within the first 36 hours, things already got ugly. Guards invented punishments out of thin air, making prisoners clean toilets with their bare hands, forcing them to do endless push-ups, even stripping them naked for discipline. Some guards got disturbingly creative, like they'd been rehearsing their villain monologues in the mirror for years. The prisoners, total collapse, emotional breakdowns, uncontrollable crying, their bodies literally rebelled from stress. One guy had to be pulled out after less than 2 days because he was sobbing so hard the researchers thought he'd snap. The whole thing was supposed to run for 2 weeks. It was shut down on day 6 because even the scientists were horrified. Lesson learned? You don't need demons to make monsters. Just clipboards, whistles, and the promise of authority. Milgram Experiment. What if there was no prison at all? Just a man in a lab coat politely asking you to be evil. That's what Stanley Milgram tested in the 1960s. Volunteers came in thinking they were part of a memory study. Their job was to quiz a stranger in the next room on word pair memory tests, like matching blue with sky. The volunteer sat at a shock machine in one room, while the learner was strapped to a chair with electrodes in another room, out of sight but within earshot. Every time the learner got an answer wrong, the volunteer had to deliver an electric shock, starting small, 15 volts. But each wrong answer cranked it higher. The learner was an actor, but the volunteer didn't know that. Soon, the screams started, "It hurts! Let me out!" Then silence, as in this guy is either unconscious or dead silence. And yet 2/3 of people kept going all the way to the maximum 450 volts, a level that would be deadly in real life, labeled with a big, ominous triple X. Just because a calm man in a lab coat kept saying, "The experiment requires that you continue." So if you've ever smugly thought, "I'd never be one of the bad guys in history," statistically, yeah, you probably would have been frying strangers like cheap diner bacon. Robbers Cave Experiment. In 1954, there was a summer camp in Oklahoma that looked normal on the outside. Cabins, campfires, but behind the scenes, psychologists were setting up a social experiment with 22 unsuspecting boys taking part. They were unknowingly split into 2 groups, the Eagles and the Rattlers. For the first week, each group thought they were the only ones at camp. They bonded, built their flags, came up with chants. But when the first week passed and the researchers finally introduced both groups to each other, the camp instantly erupted into tribal warfare. The boys yelled insults, trashed each other's cabins, burned flags, even staged late-night raids. One group literally armed themselves with socks full of rocks. The camp went from roasting marshmallows to roasting rival cabins in record time. To defuse the chaos, the researchers staged fake emergencies. They sabotaged the camp's water supply so the boys had to work together to fix it. Later, they arranged for the camp truck to break down, so both groups had to pull it with a rope. Only when they were forced to cooperate on these shared problems did the hostility start to melt away. So yeah, apparently the quickest way to reveal the monsters inside kids is just give them a team name and a flag.